everyone. Welcome to Birth of a Doula. My name is Erica, and in this episode, we're going to talk about how it's very important before any birth or dealing with any client, you better check yourself. So, sometimes when you go to your births, you prepare, or at least I do. I have like a game plan in my head. I kind of listen to music, trying to get myself a little energized, because most of the time, I get those phone calls at the crack of dawn. Which is fine, because I know when babies like to come, or I know when mamas think babies are about to come, and I have to work with them. So off I go. But when you enter the hospital, like I had a recent birth, the nurses were looking at me like I was crazy because my client was getting a C-section. So they were like, "What are you going to do?" And I was just like, "I'm just here to see my client." I didn't want to engage in the pettiness or in the silence. It was like, everyone was just looking at me above their mask, and it really did not feel comfortable. But I was like, you know what? I'm here to support my client, not to get into it with all of them. So I disregarded, and I went on with the mission, and the mama delivered beautifully. But it was very interesting to me that this particular hospital, I think it was Mount Carmel East, they have doulas at the hospital that work there. But yet, because my client was having a C-section, she tried to discount what my position was. Again, I had to check myself, because it wasn't personal. It was just her ignorance. So another birth I had, I think I talked about it in the video where the nurse was trying to blame me for the fetal heart monitor that I have no certificate of being educated on. I mean, I'm familiar with reading one because, again, I went to nursing school. But she tried to make it my fault. I said, "Sis." I was like, you know what, Erica? Check yourself. Because she just didn't want to come in here and do her job. Which is not okay, but it is what it is. So before every birth, before interacting with the client, check yourself. It can be very triggering sometimes, especially if you've had a baby and your experience was not everything that you imagined it to be and more. Right? So you kind of sometimes catch yourself getting a little snippy or a little curt. Hold up. Let me check myself. This is about completely supporting the client. Let me put my story behind me and let me just be present. Sometimes it can be very difficult to do that. But however, you have to refocus and know that it is all about the client and not about you. Another thing, as a doula, nurses look at you. Well, the nurses I was around recently, they were just like mean mugging me. You remember the whole look you up and down? It was just very uncomfortable because, again, with masks, this is all you can see. And I was just like, good morning to you too. And they kind of minimize the role of a doula. And some people who are more familiar with it, they, appreciate and can understand the power and influence of one and all the benefits of one. But the other ones that don't, I have to check myself, and I have to understand this is their ignorance. And I'm not going to sit here and showboat or try to one-up them on the education or who's more educated, because let's be honest, I have a bachelor's degree, I have my nursing education, and I have my doula certification and experience and all the other volunteering experience that I have in female medicine or women's medicine. So I'm really not that pressed, but sometimes it can be very uncomfortable and you want to be who you really are outside of your job. But no, check yourself. Anybody that works in customer service knows the customer is always right. So I'm here to support my client, not to deal with all the other BS that goes around with the nurses and their egos. It can be difficult, but ladies, even doulas, we are all in this together. We're here to support the clients, to do our best to make sure that mama's healthy, baby's healthy, mama and whoever her supporting persons are have a beautiful birth experience. It's humbling, but checking yourself isn't always a bad thing, because then we become aware of our triggers, and for those of us that do our inner work, it's a win-win, Healthy mama, healthy baby, good experience, good bonding. It's a beautiful thing. So, that's all. I just wanted to drop a little note of the importance of it, because you need to do it every time. But thank you so much for seeing the video. See you guys next time. Bye.